It's your Sleepless Squad back with a new video of what if Alien X was in the My Hero Academia universe. Last time we left off, uh, Ben the U went to UA and saw the students there. Now, uh, he decided before then that he told Midoriya this that he was going to be the villain. He's going to be the asshole. He's going to fuck with people. Now, when he comes in, he sees All Might and all the rest, and he also sees Mirako and everyone else as he sits near the middle. As the teacher, Mr. What did I call him again? I know I know his name too. Uh, the teacher walks in, explains what he's going to do, explains that he doesn't care what he gets called. He can be called asshole, fuckface if you care, but he at least says you have to say some with some respect in your voice. As all the girls went to change because they only have one changing room. As the boys go change, as they did their testing, strength, uh, speed, uh, ball throw, and also how far you can run or stamina. As shit, I'm still trying to remember. I know its name. Stiff, Mr. Stiff. Ooh, it's gonna be bad if I forget. As we left off with the girls being in the locker room as the boys are getting water, as they were talking about the boys, as some of them were talking about All Might, some of them were talking about some other guys, as Mirako talked about Ben, as he's like, oh, but he's lengthy, he doesn't really have any muscles, as Mirako says, yeah, I don't really care about a guy with muscles, I just need a guy with some stamina. As she walks out as all the girls flush in embarrassment, as that's the last time we left off. Now, going into it now, it's already been a week of training for them as they've been training with their quirk, making it stronger themselves, and also their physical strength, and also their stamina. Uh, Mr. Sif has mostly been working on endeavors and the rest of the crew's stamina. Miracle, All Might, and Ben's stamina is really high. That's why he wanted to test that. Same with a lot of their strength and a lot of their speed. They're making it better. They're making their muscles better. As they're also working with their quirks and trying to make that stronger. As Ben is combat-based quirk, so he has to get actually punched in the face. So Mr. Stiff has been working with him, especially trying to basically how to make Ben use it the right way, make it use the proper way, and making it very strong itself. As Ben is already kind of a super genius himself, so he uses it in weird ways by smashing a wall and making it covered in, so someone's eyes are covered, and then using the rest of the energy to smash them into the face or something close to that. They also have been some mock battles, as I said with Ben, with him literally practicing their quirks with other people. Sometimes it's a 3v3, sometimes it's a 1v1, or sometimes it's a 10v10. It just matters what Mr. Stith feels like. As Mr. Stith and the rest of the crew are going to go into the what is it called? Are going to the testing grounds where the first Nomu was shown in the anime, as they have Mr. Stith in Class 1A and Mrs. Stanton in Class 1B, helping with both Classes A and B going into the testing grounds for this exam for basically a test. Their testing is how well can they survive in a rock scenario, flood scenario, attack scenario, fire scenario, something close to that with someone they have to save. So they're testing with also cutting their groups in half, where they have some B, 2A students, 2B students, 2A students, 2B students, testing to see about their teamwork and teaming with somebody else. As they're walking up, Ben's already know what's going to happen. Ben knows what's going to happen for a while now. Ben knew that this was going to happen for a couple months now. Actually, a couple centuries, but still. He knows that this is going to be come back with with villains. Villains are going to attack, and a new creature, a Nomu, is going to attack. As they walk into the building, as Ben knows what's going to happen, as the entire stage 4 is covered in villains as a Nomu, and not Shigaraki though. Not Shigaraki, a new villain, because Shigaraki is technically like 16, actually 19 by now. But it's not all for one either. Actually, no. If we're technically calling it by what Midori is, he would be like, and Midori was 15 when the anime started. Shigaraki was 20 something. I think he was 25. So technically, Shigaraki would be what is that? I think 25. That's 10 years. So it'd be 15 technically right now. Shigaraki going through puberty. That's some scary shit already. I'm terrified. Actually, let me change that. We do see Shigaraki, but we see a young Shigaraki. Very young Shigaraki. Going through puberty and very horny Shigaraki. As you see another villain, though. And a Nomu pop out. As same things that happen in the anime. They all get teleported into engagements. Ben is teleported with Fox Girl, real name being Mindy, real name being Mindy, and Mirako. As they land on the ship, as it starts to rock back and forth with the weight of these two girls' hips. I don't like making those jokes, but they're so easy to make. Mirako's like abs alone could crush a watermelon. I'm not, and we're not even talking about her thighs. God damn. I know I'm a simp, but we gotta keep it professional here. As they're covered with number 2 here, villains with water type abilities. Now, Mindy is like, so what do we need to do? How can we do this? And as Ben's looking over the situation, he's saying, "Punch me in the face." What? Mirako, kick me really hard, really fucking hard. As Mirako's like, "I'm not gonna do that. You're part of my team." As I said, kick me, please. The strategy is going to be, you're going to punch me hard enough that I can build enough energy where I can affect the air pressure, and it's going to make a tunnel hole or a circleization. Then you two are going to go down there, and I am too, when they're all circle up, and we're going to beat the shit out of them. As Mirako says, "Oh, okay," and just fucking massively kicks and just starts bruising on Ben. As Ben gains up enough energy to do his plan, as he jumps in and just starts hammering them without hesitation, without anything. As Mindy and also Mirako just, it's a little bit harder for both of them still, especially Mirako, because she's usually kicks. She has to work on some punches, but they got it done as they get out of the lake, as they go to the center. As it's basically like a spy mission where they're trying to see what is happening. Mr. God damn it. As both teachers, Mrs. Stan and Mr. God damn it, I forgot his name again. I'll work on this shit, okay? Mr. Mr. Stiff are kicking some ass, actually. Uh, Mr. Sith powers is actually uh, what he calls bludgeoning. The harder he gets hit, it's the harder he gets hit, the harder he hits. But with that, he has to take a lot of damage, and with that, uh, it does have a cooldown, and it has consequences. It's if he gets hit hard enough and he passes out, all of his strength that he gained up from that point on just deletes. And also, if he does not get hit in a certain time period, aka 20 seconds, all his strength is now gone. Mrs. Morris's is called needlework. Now, needlework works in a way where she can sees where areas are that if she punctures with any object, they can cause multiple types of things. It's like pressure points basically. They can cause a stroke, paralyze, and if she wants to, completely shut down the brain, but with very small needles. As they're right now back to back, as Mrs. Morris is right now chucking needles just everywhere, trying to hit pressure points. As some of them are like, like shark people, so they have different types of pressure points where she has to stab into. As right now, Ben says to Mirako and Mindy, he says, "Grab everyone else. Go into the front and break down. Try to get as many teachers back over here as physically possible." As Mirako's like, "What are you gonna do?" As he takes off his jacket and says, "I'm gonna go to work." As he hops over the barrier and just starts trucking guys. Boom, one punch down. Does a left jab, kicks into the face. Does a flip, hits another guy in the butt. But fucking. Actually, yes. He puts his hands together, and he says, "7 years." He puts his hand together as a Naruto theme song start playing in the background. I'm not gonna say it, but he shoves it up his butt and he just goes flying. As all the rest of the guys are like, "What the fuck?" As he turns around and just says, he starts like jumping and flipping his styles, and he just says, "Well, I'm here, am I not? What are you gonna do? Be pussies?" As he runs forward and just starts knocking people out one after another, as Shigaraki and this other villain guy start talking. As Shigaraki, you can be heard, he says, "We must send out the Nomu." As the other guy's like, "No. The Nomu is our last resort, if nothing else. We have to wait till his successor." As Mrs. Stan looks at Ben and says, "What are you doing?" As he chucks a needle at right where the ribs hit, as he just goes into shock, paralyzed shock, and collapses. As Ben just punches a guy in the face, and as he dodges another punch and hits another guy in the face, knocking him out, and says, "I'm helping, am I not?" Kicks a guy in the stomach, and just front kicks him into the face. As all this is going down, as All Might and Endeavor are just, there's 20 villains around them, as Endeavor smiles and just lifts up this flame as he carves half of them in fire. As All Might cocks his fist back and says, "Texas Slam!" as this massive just wave, as he smashes through the brick wall. As Endeavor says, "Ladies first," as he says, as All Might looks at him and says, "Grandma second," as he goes through the wall. As they all see All Might, as the new villain looks at him and says, "Now." as they sent the Nomu after All Might. As the Nomu is quickly dispatched in the same way it was in the anime, literally, but a lot faster because he doesn't have the energy. Literally, boom, 3 punches, one in the gut, one in the face, and then one more just to send that shit to the moon. As the villains, as Shigaraki looks at him and says, "You fucking idiot," as he goes back into the portal, as the new villain looks at him and says, at least this was a good test, as he walks through the portal as well. As Ben looks at him and says, "What a bunch of pansies. What a fucking a bunch of pansies." As the portal closes, as this is where we're going to end it off. Actually, let me do a little bit more. Mirako and all the rest group up as they all look at each other. As Mr. Stiff looks at all of them and say, "Go home. 2 weeks off. 2 days off." As all of them like what? Don't go to school tomorrow or the next day. Have a break. As you can see, like most like their cover. Mrs. Stan is like she has a bruise on her face, a black eye. As Mr. Stiff is like has some cuts and some stuff, and he says, "We're gonna need a little bit of a med kit." So all the kids file out as they as all the officers and medical team go over them, make sure they are fine as they go back home and they get their 2 days off. As this is where we're ending it off. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys later. Goodbye.